Hey folks, it's Coach Mo Faul here with another Motivational Monday. I am so excited that I am starting a new series this week on Get the Job. Get the job. Please, would you already? You know you want it. You know you want to go for it. But I'm going to tell you 5 things this week as we go all the way through the week, every single day. You're going to have bullets and nuggets and all this gold dashed out for you from the pros. And today I'm bringing along with me my director of coaching, Jean Callihan. Hello, Jean. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing great, Mo. Thanks for having me as always.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely welcome, and I'm glad to have you. Jean is my director of coaching. Jean's been working with me for almost 3 years now on the most kick-ass, the most awesome secret weapon program of the 12-week workshop we have, the Kick-Ass Career Workshop, which nearly 500 women have been through in the 4+ years that I've been doing this work. And the thing is, ladies, and maybe there's some gentlemen here, but most of my followers and audience out there are women who are looking to up-level their careers. You can't have the career that you want and up-level yourself and do what you've always done. It doesn't happen. You have to switch it up. So today, Jean and I are going to talk about the main interview pitfalls that happen and the reason why you're probably not getting the job. Usually, when they interview you, you have on paper the qualifications they're looking for. So when you apply for a job and you talk to someone over the phone, whether that be a recruiter, a hiring manager, or someone from HR, they screen you out. They're like, okay, she's good enough for us to bring in an interview. But then the in-person interview might just not be exactly what it's meant to be for you for that job. So it's time for you to learn from the pros about what's probably going wrong. And Jean and I have scoped out 4 major pitfalls that we find the women that we work with falling into when their interviews don't go well. We're going to not only talk about those 4 pitfalls, but we're also going to let you know why they're happening and what's probably necessary for you to change. Now, if you haven't seen my webinar that I run every single day, and from time to time I see posts on the Facebook things for my webinar, Mo, are you running this another time? Ladies, here's the thing. If you haven't seen my webinar, click on and get yourself an evening slot for that webinar. Even if you can't be there exactly on time, I'm going to send you a replay. So check that out. Oops, did we just lose Jean? Uh-oh, Jean, are you back? Jean, come back. All right, don't know where Jean went, but we're going to get rocking and rolling. Jean, come back. All right, we've got some beautiful ladies. Feel free, ladies, to let us know that you're here. Give us a little chat in the comments. Let us know. Maybe even ask us a question about an interview that you've had recently, or maybe a fear you have on interviewing. And we'll see if we can't get Jean back here with us. She disappeared just like that. Don't know what was going on there, but let's get Jean back. So if you're having issues with the sound, you may want to pop back in. I'm not sure what's going on there, but thanks for hanging with us. You know, technology is so good, but every now and then there's some little things that glitch us up, and we've just got to keep rolling with it. So, hey, Holly, good to see you as well. Veronica, I don't know you, but good to see you. Jane, good to see you. Ladies, feel free, please, to just let me know that you're here. So I know that you're here, and I'll address any tips or questions that you have about, yeah, there you go. Natalie's helping out with the technology issues. I'm going to be drinking a little bit of water. I got a little something in my throat, so I'm just going to keep myself well hydrated. As those of you who follow me, you know, that's like my name, my game. But I hate coughing when I'm on camera, but it's going to be part of the deal here. Okay. And hopefully Jean will come back. If she doesn't come back today, we'll pop her on another day of the week. But Jean was just here. Okay, ladies, there are 4 major pitfalls that we see all the time in interviewing. Here's what they are, and then we're going to hit each and every one of them. Number 1, you might be talking too much. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Number 2, you may not be talking enough. Number 3, you may not be paying attention to the fact that you're supposed to come with questions also, and that's part of what they're judging. Number 4, you might have some deep-seated incongruencies with the job you're interviewing for, and you may have some job reluctance around that due to either past job trauma or some other beliefs that you might have about what that job might entail, whether it be the company, the position, the title, the compensation. You may not be totally lined up with it, so you might not be in your power. We're going to talk about each of those things, and we're going to manifest Jean coming right back on camera with us so she can help us talk about these things, because we're both helping our clients in the Kick-Ass Workshop navigate these things in a powerful way, and not necessarily avoiding these issues, but actually doing something about it. Let's talk about the talking too much. I was actually talking to someone on a clarity call last week. And by the way, if you have not booked your clarity call and you think we could help you and you want help with professionals, book your clarity call. That's how it all starts. You're going to see on these comments some lovely ladies who we've worked with, and they've had amazing results, feeling better about themselves, landing jobs, knowing exactly what the tools and techniques need to land their jobs forever. So let's talk about talking too much. Most of the women we work with are really good at what they do, technically savvy in their chosen profession. Engineers, accountants, sales professionals, experts in their field. A lot of healthcare, marketing, digital technology, all sorts of experts in their fields. Here's the thing. You tend to show up on an interview wanting to tell them everything that you know. And what's not happening is that you may not be talking to what they want to hear. You may be missing. There's Jean.
Hello.
Back again. I'm talking about the talking too much part, Jean. So welcome back. Glad you were able to get back on and add your expertise to the call. So what's happening here is that when you talk too much, you're usually just regurgitating content and probably nervous energy, trying to prove what you know, trying to impress them with the knowledge you have up here. And what's missing is that you're not impressing them with who you are, because it's all talk, 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 talk. I got to tell you this. Not only do we see this in the women in our workshop that we help them coach around this not being what they bring to the interview, but I've interviewed lots of people and I couldn't get them to shut up. And I'm like, time out. Let's talk about this, that, and the other thing. And they're just a mile a minute, nervous energy, talk, 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 talk. So here's what's going to happen. As the hiring manager, or if HR is in the room at the time, they're going to be saying, we know people are nervous at an interview, but this nervous energy is just not going to fly. So I want you to pay attention to the fact that that's probably the number one reason why you haven't been brought back for another interview, is because they don't want to hear you again. You just bored them to tears, told them everything you know, and they're not impressed. Jean, what do you see on this talking too much problem when we coach our ladies?
Well, one of the things is, because we, as the interviewees, are showing up small, or we're not really fully standing in our power, we're not owning the value that we can bring to the team or to the organization, we tend to talk about what we think they want to hear, versus rather than really speaking our truth, are from like a soul authentic level about, look, this is what I can do for you.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's actually a great point. This is what I can do for you versus this is what I've done. So when we show up for an interview, being the historian of all the doingness, it can be a little boring, because if it has nothing to do or very little to do with what they really want this job to do or what they want you to be, it can really fall flat. So it's really important that you focus not only on what your successes have been, not in a fire hose type of way, but very succinctly in how that matches up with what they want and what they expect in the role. Now, you may be thinking to yourself right now, well, Mo, how do I know that? Jean, how do candidates know what the job and the company require? How do they know what to expect in that?
Well, A, do your homework, do your due diligence. Check out the website, look at the job description, look at the responsibilities and the duties. Typically, you will see a theme or some patterns going through there. So then when you're talking, you can speak directly to what they say they want in their ideal candidate, or what that ideal candidate or what the person filling that role is going to be responsible for, and talk to that. Don't talk about other things in the past that maybe you had great outcomes or maybe you had like really good results. If it has nothing to do with what they're looking for, save your breath. Don't waste your time and their time.
Right.
Speak to what they have put out there as far as what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And
so
it's okay to ask questions too.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to go to. And as far as knowing what they want, obviously the job description is your most direct roadmap, but there's not everything there either. There's a limitation of what they can put on a job description, and perhaps other things that they might be having in their head or their heart or some other stuff is only going to be found out by asking powerful questions. You have got to come to the interview with questions, and they have to be powerful questions. And they can't just be, what are my benefits? And can I work from home on Fridays? Don't do that. If you can think of anything not to do on an interview, do not talk about the hours and the benefits in the first interview or until they bring them up. Don't act like that's your biggest concern. And if it is your biggest concern, you're not going to bring your soul to work. You're just wanting to do work and get the hell out of there. Prioritize what this interview is all about. You want them to fall in love with you, and you want to fall in love with them. So let's go back to the first date you had with someone you may have fallen in love with before in your life. You're asking questions. You're interested. You're curious. You're concerned about who they are and what's going on. Bring that person to the interview. Jean, when we coach, what's the only way we can ever find out about the person?
We ask powerful questions.
Exactly. So ladies, the number 2 reason you're probably not getting the next interview or the job is because you're probably not asking powerful questions. So they're thinking, this person doesn't get it. So number 1, you may be talking too much. Number 2, you may not be asking the right questions, and they're going to judge. If you're interviewing at a level above 100K, you better be asking about strategy. You better be asking about what that hiring manager wants in this role. You have to be interested. People, pay attention. It's not just about you. When you go on an interview, it might appear to be about you because they're interviewing you, but it's about them. What do they need? What do they want? You have to get into that. If you don't, you can't possibly do the next thing that's really important to do, or that you're probably going to get in a trap with. Jean, before I go on to that, do you want to add anything on the asking questions piece?
Yes. I would like to add that especially when you're interviewing at above the 100K level, you probably want to be asking questions about innovation and growth, because clearly they're bringing someone in because they have objectives, they have their mission, they have the things that they want to achieve, and they're growing, expanding. It's always about how can we do things better, more efficient, more streamlined, be able to increase the ROI, whatever the case may be. So ask questions that show that you get that growth is beautiful.
Right. And they probably have some significant problems. They probably have some priorities. And more than likely, you can figure that out in your interview. And if their priorities and significant problems are things that you're trying to run and hide from, might not be the right match. So make sure that you're coming with concern, interest, curiosity, and that you're really, really interested in understanding their goals and objectives. Make sure you get that done. So, Jean, the third reason why we see women not get the job or not advance in their interviews is because they don't talk enough. So let's elaborate on that just a little bit, not just for the introverts of the world, but some people show up in interviews and they're sort of shut down. And so they may not show their best selves or their most powerful self or the talented self. What are some of the reasons why people shut down? And then let's talk about how to navigate that.
Yeah, so variety of reasons why may people shut down. One is just lack of confidence. One may be a lower value of their self-worth. Mm-hmm. One may be that they don't feel that they are a fit for the job. Mm-hmm. They're doing it anyways, or interviewing anyways. Another reason someone may be shut down is because it's just flat out not the right fit.
Right.
And they're doing it from a place of desperation or scarcity or lack mindset.
Right. And so you might be telegraphing a lack of interest because it may be a lack of interest. But here's the thing, no matter what you're feeling in the interview, what you might think about the long-term prospects, whether the people that you're interviewing with are people you want to work with or not, show up interested, show up with your best, highest self. Because here's the thing, if you shut down, if you let either the nervousness take over, or if you let some of the signals you're getting from them shut you down, you're like, oh, this isn't going. Be your authentic, powerful self, no matter what. Because this interview may not be with the main decision maker anyway. This may be with people who perceive this role to be competitive with themselves or something like that. You may not have the full picture. So be who you want to be, regardless of how you're feeling and what the circumstances are. Now, with that being said, there's a fourth thing we want you to really pay attention to that, again, is probably the biggest reason why you don't advance in interviews or why you don't get the job. And that's being out of alignment with yourself and the job. So let me paint this picture, Jean, because this is something we see all the time. So let's just say that you're a senior manager and you're interviewing for a director level job.
All right.
Let's say that your director currently at your current job, which is what you're trying to get out of, let's say your director is mean and nasty to you. Let's say that VP is right along with that person. Let's say that the reason why you want to leave that job is because the people above you, you just don't like, and you just want to not be there anymore. The subconsciousness is in protection mode and wants to keep you from danger. So what happens is that we intellectualize what that role will look like and who I have to be for that role. I have to be a dragon monster in order to be a director. So if I'm interviewing for a director role, I am so out of congruency with that role because I have a belief system, even if it's subconsciously, and most of this is subconscious, that says that in order to be a director, I need to be someone I'm not. And even though I want to be a director to move my career forward, I don't really want this job because it's going to twist me into someone I'm not. So when we have a belief system that is incongruent with being successful in the interview and landing that job, you're going to be out of sync with your power. And whether they know it or not, they're going to feel hesitation coming from you. They're going to feel the reluctance and they're going to respond to it. And they might be like, I kind of like that Jean, but just something about her. Let's not move her forward. I just wasn't feeling it. Jean, talk more about this incongruence and how our beliefs that are embedded in us can really hurt us when we're going for the next level up.
Yeah. So I want to go to the other side of the coin on that, which is it may not be a belief about us. It may be a belief about the other person or about the circumstance. So, if in order to be a director and my past directors were mean and nasty, then if I go for this level job, I'm going to have the life sucked out of me, or I'm not going to be appreciated, or I'm not going to be valued because that was my past experience. And so when we bring our past experiences forward into where we see ourselves going in the next direction, it can really stifle us. It can really hold us back.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we have a commitment to an expected reality, if it's not really what we want in life, but we still have that commitment, oh, if I'm going to have that bigger job, it's going to take over my whole family. I'm not going to have the time. It's going to be a disaster. I can't manage my time that well. Every job I've ever had has taken all my time, and I don't want that to take from my family. So if you're committed to that reality, you're not going to be able to advance your career, because that value system is going to be pushing in the opposite direction of a career move. And so many people don't understand this, because they think, well, of course I want a next level of job. Of course I want this. Of course I want that. But you're going to wrap yourself up in convince mode. But meanwhile, inside is not what you're believing. So out of step with your internal self and out of step with interviewing powerfully. Jean, this is the number one thing we cover in our workshop. When we have women get in touch with their soul, their core values, life purpose, natural gifts and talents, and really get clear on the contributions that they've made in their career with their education, their experience, and their expertise. And we help them really load it up in the lane of their soul, and then get really, really powerful about what that's all about. We see people just come alive at a whole new level, don't we?
Oh, major. And they're so comfortable because it's so authentic. It's just rolling off of their tongues. They don't even have to think about, this is what I'm going to say for this question or that question. They're so confident, so powerful. It's like, show up and you throw anything at me, like, put me on the spit. Like, it's fine. I got this. And they do. They got it.
Right. And so many of the women that we coach, when they come back from that type of interview, when they're in alignment, they're totally congruent with who they are and what the job is all about. They say, that just seemed like an easy conversation. That wasn't an interview at all. How many times have we heard that, Jean, before ladies land their dream jobs, and it's just, that was easy.
Hundreds.
Right.
Hundreds.
I never had an interview that easy before. Oh my gosh, things just seemed to flow. Oh, and then the VP wanted to meet with me, and then this happened, and then,
and I didn't even have my resume, and it was like all good, and then things are just like coming out of the woodworks.
Right. Let's talk about how energetically powerful alignment really is, because so many human beings in this beautiful world, in this beautiful life, are in struggle mode, and they think they have to work harder, work longer, work more, effort more, prove themselves, all of that in order to get this thing right. So what does alignment really look like, Jean?
In 2 words, I would say for me, it looks and feels like word number 1, ease. Word number 2, flow. Mm-hmm. And hey, I was there. I was in struggle mode for a long, long time, and it did not have good results.
Yeah,
not at all. Alignment is, I am so confident and sure and certain that I know that everything is happening exactly the way that it's supposed to. And I'm going to go in there and knock their socks off and rock this interview. And they believe that with every fiber of their being.
Yeah.
That there's no other alternative.
Right. This job is mine. And so, most human beings on this planet, when we start to see them in our workshop, Jean, they're in hustle and struggle mode. And we all get that, because all of us were raised in that level of work ethic. And if I don't work hard, if I don't struggle, if I don't stress out, then I'm not working hard enough, then I don't care enough. I can remember I managed a woman who, after something fell through with a recruit that she was working really hard on, it fell through and the recruit didn't come through. She literally began crying. And as much as I kind of admired the fact that she cared so much, I said to her, you know what? You're not going to be able to be successful if you're up and down with whether that recruit is a jerk, bails out at the last minute, etc. It is not going to work for you to be successful. So you can prove that you care by doing a good job. You don't have to prove that you care by having an emotional, heightened response when something doesn't go the right way. I give you permission not to have to care that much. And you know what? She was just like, what? I don't have to care that much. I don't have to throw everything into my work and prove that I'm worthy enough, that I care. And so when we bring that level of struggle, striving, proving who we are through interview, it's just not gonna fly. And here's what's gonna happen. And we see this all the time, don't we, Jean? You're gonna attract a job that wants you to keep proving yourself. You'll be like, oh man, she's awesome. She's like gonna give everything to this job. We're gonna be able to underpay her and overwork her. We got this. And what's going to happen, ladies, is you're going to get in the same rut of that job, but just a different company. Or if you're interviewing in your current company, you're going to fall into the same rut that you're probably in, which is probably why you're interviewing. When we talk about the energetic universe and we talk about what it's like to be in even flow, we're not just talking about a theory. Jean, we've seen women's faces change throughout the 12-week workshop. We've seen women, let's just say, let go of nervous disorders, skin disorders,
voices changing.
Voices changing. That's a big one. And things in the rest of their life falling in place, even including difficult family relationships that are now easier to handle and navigate. And sometimes difficult family relationships that now come back in an ease and flow method. Oh, it's nice to see Hajer and Adrienne. Nice to see you, ladies. Good to have you. Oh, Adrienne, thank you very much for your great comments. I've been thinking about you, Adrienne, as a matter of fact. Hope all is well with you. So what happens, Jean? Not only do we interview better when we're in alignment, everything in life gets better, but we're able to actually test it out. Test out this alignment thing, test out our soul's power, test out being congruent and authentic and powerful in something as simple as an interview. And when we get the evidence, we can now integrate that. Talk about how that just is part of how we learn to be a different version of ourselves. Let's really give some deep consciousness coaching and training education here for a few minutes.
Okay, so number one, when we're talking about being in alignment, we are not reliant on external circumstances to decide our feeling state. Mm-hmm. We are not responding and reacting to what someone else is saying or doing, someone else's opinion or judgment. When we are fully in our soul's alignment, when we are bringing our essence, our happiness, our confidence from the inside out, it doesn't matter what life throws at us.
Right.
Life can throw whatever it is at us. We can navigate easily and effortlessly because we aren't being in that reactive mode. We're not in victim mindset. So I think that's a huge underpinning of all of this.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. And so when we are totally in alignment with who we are, who we want to be every single day, what we want to do with our life, and we're basically coming from a source from within that is powerful and strong. And Jean, you and I know we try to talk about this in terms that won't offend anyone, but our creator, our divinity, the unified people, the infinite universe, the way God put this universe together, we are tapping in to that, the best parts of ourselves that are truly, the way I look at it, is our soul. And when our soul is lit up to the best version of us, we are then going to be the version that we were always meant to be. And to me, it's the most beautiful thing to do on this planet is to actually fall back in love with who you were born to be, and to be that version of you in not only in your job and your career path, but in all aspects of who you are with your friends and your family of origin and people in the grocery store. I mean, look, folks, if you're an ass in the grocery store, you've got that part of you energized. Like, you got to get into alignment with your most beautiful, soulful self. That's not a soul. That's an injured human being who has learned how to be that way because they've had to protect their own heart and soul. And the only way we can get rid of negative behavior in ourselves, and that's the only person we can truly do it in. Although if you're raising kids, you kind of influence and whatever, but all things being equal, they're going to figure it out anyway. But here's the thing. The number one responsibility you have is to you. And if you're an awesome, soulful self, everyone around you is going to reflect that. This is the universal principle. This is what, when everyone's talking about the law of attraction, it's not about getting the car you want or the home you want. I mean, yeah, that's fun and that's cool. What it's about is being the highest version of you and then having an attractor pattern of bringing that level of vibrational beauty and love and clarity and joy into your life. Not because you're working hard at it, not because you're efforting through days and nights of toil, but because of who you are at the resonating level. And this is so hard, Jean, isn't it, for our linear mind to get, because this isn't logical. It's not linear. So if you're an engineer, accountant, or some other profession that has to use your linear brain, this won't work in your computer program. This is transcending the Newtonian physical world. So great to see some of our clients and some of our, oh, Cindy's a first-time viewer. Hey, Cindy, welcome aboard for Soul to Work and Motivational Mondays. Jean, talk a little bit more about this alignment thing, and then I'm going to talk about what we're talking about tomorrow. But maybe I'll have you on tomorrow too. I don't know. We'll see how that flows. But
maybe I'll be here. If it's in alignment, I will be here.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, with this, getting out of the analytical, logical, rational human mind. This is why we love, love, love our quiet time. We love meditation. We love getting out of this pre-wired instinct, sometimes fear-based mechanism that is meant to keep us in the safe, the known, the certain, predictable.
Yeah.
And that's why going up leveling or going for a new job or transitioning into a new industry, it can be scary because it's uncomfortable, because it's unpredictable. And so the more time we can spend out of the mechanism that produces the stories that hold us back, that produces the belief structure that maybe limits us or doesn't serve us to move forward, the more time we can spend out of that and get into that conscious, creative aspect, that divine part of us. Yeah, that's when we get into the ease and flow. That's when alignment becomes easy.
Right. You know, I had a physician friend of mine a little while ago ask me how I could possibly coach people in different professions than I had. And I went on to explain to him that I don't have to be an expert engineer to teach an engineer or to coach an engineer to her greatness. I don't have to be an expert in the music industry like Holly in order to have her up-level herself, interview powerfully, and be all that she can be. I don't have to have my PhD like Adrienne has in order to help her up-level her career. And I wanted to put one of her comments, Jean, I know you can't see the comments I have on the screen. EAWOFM. And all you know what that is. And Adrienne posted that. The workshop works. Let's talk a little bit about that, because we're talking about it. And I got to tell you, one of our fun clients that came through a couple of years ago, this is something that drove her crazy at first. And ladies, what this acronym is, if you don't already know, is everything always works out for me. The first thing that the ego is going to say is, well, not just for me, it works out for everyone. So Mo, that's not true. And I don't want to be selfish. And I don't want to say that the world is working out for me. So the ego, believe it or not, is not the ego that fights against it, even though you think it's like your spirituality is fighting. Well, it's for everyone, Mo, isn't it? Everyone can say this for their life. But if you don't believe that everything always works out in your highest best interest, for me, if you don't believe that everything always doesn't work out for you, then you're not going to approach situations learning from them and growing from them. You're going to approach them from the V for victim mode. And anytime you approach a situation from the victim mode, you're going to be dead wrong. Dead wrong. And see, what's going to happen is this whole everything always works out for me thing is going to kind of like keep working on you until you get it. Jean, everything always works out for me. Is it selfish or is it a universal principle?
It's a universal principle.
And so it works for everyone, right? Regardless of anything. But some people's lives don't look like it because they're too busy in victim mode rather than in taking the lesson and moving forward into their truth.
They're looking at what's not working. And so that's what they keep seeing.
Bam, 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 bam. So, ladies, I'm going to wrap up today, and I'm going to talk about, then just give you a little taste of Lori. I'm so loving you stopping in. Love this conversation. Right on, Lori, a beautiful, lovely client. Thank you so much for stopping by here. So we are summarizing. You're not getting hired because you're either talking too much, you're either talking too little, and or you're not asking the right questions, meaning you're not caring about what's they're interested in, and or you're incongruent with the job and the role or the company and what you truly believe, either about yourself or about the role. When you're out of congruency, you can't really match up with being a powerful interviewer. So those 4 reasons are the reasons why you are not being successful in your interviews. Now, can we help? Of course we can. We work with women all the time in every single profession around the world. And it's universal principles that we apply first. It's bringing your soul back to life. It's resuscitating the heck out of that. When we bring your inner illumination back up, then the path to your most perfect career in interviewing becomes so much easier. It's so much more possible. And we have brilliant, beautiful results because of the approach that we take. We go soul first, and then what you do. Tomorrow, Jean, I'm going to talk about spinning your wheels at the promotion you didn't get. And I know all too well what it's like not to get the promotion. As a matter of fact, my last job in corporate America came on the heels of not getting a promotion. And I may tell this story tomorrow, but the woman who got that promotion instead of me is now one of my best friends. And it's a really cool story. I love the story because it's an unpredictable path. But because I didn't get that promotion, something else happened. That was the best thing ever in my corporate career. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. But I'm just going to check on our chat things, see if there's anything that we need to address. Tanya Raymond, love it. Everything always works out for me. Way to go. Stephanie, I'm trying to leave my current company. What do you mean trying to leave, Stephanie? Are you committed to a new up level, or are you just trying? As Yoda said in Star Wars, there is no try. There's do
or do not. Do or do not. There is no try.
So Stephanie, get freaking committed, darling. So Lori says she stopped by to surround myself with those who live in their highest vibrational level. You know it. So if you'd like to get started with working with Jean and I in the Kick-Ass Workshop, you can book your clarity call. Every woman here who's commenting and giving us lots of love, it all started with the clarity call. They took action. They believed in themselves enough to have a powerful conversation with someone who cares about their career and cares about them. So here's the booking link. It's mofaul.com/clarity call booking. Easy enough. Cut and paste that into your web browser, and let's get started with a powerful conversation all about you. Yep. It's time to focus on you. The only reason why you're not getting where you want to get is because there's something going on inside that is not congruent with the highest version of you. And you could be all kinds of educational degrees. You could have X number of years of experience, but if something's not congruent with your power, you're missing the boat. You're probably not making what you could make. And we're here to fix that. And we do it all the time, and we love it. And gosh darn it, we're freaking good at it. Not only that, most of the women in the workshop, probably all of them, have made friends for life because they had this journey together. And now they have sisterhood, kick-ass sisters all around the world that they can lean in at any time. Jean, it's been fun talking to you about this dicey topic of interviewing. Again, ladies, tomorrow I'm talking about spinning your wheels on that promotion that you didn't get, or maybe you didn't even go for it because you were like, I don't think I'll get it. So let's dive in again tomorrow, and we're going to be back the next day and the next day. If you're watching these live, it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, right here. Tune in, and I'm going to give you all the golden nuggets about all the things that we do with our women in our kick-ass workshop that bring them to the next level in their careers. You can check me out, all about me, client interviews, etc. at mofaul.com, and just browse around and see what's going on. You might be missing the train if you haven't tapped in to who you really are at the full level. I say bring your soul to work and then land your dream job. It works like a charm. Ladies, thank you for joining us today. Paula, it was great to see you. Veronica, nice to meet you here. Maria, so good to see you. Ladies, it's always great to see you. I'm back tomorrow for try not to spin those wheels on the promotion you didn't get and actually what to do about it. Jean, it's always fun to be here with you. I'll see you tomorrow at work.
Sounds good. I'll bring my soul.
All right. Sounds like a plan. All right, ladies.
Thanks, Mo.
Is tomorrow this time. See you then.
Bye.